When we say a person is stoic, the dictionary tells us it means it's a person that is calm and unaffected by emotion. The purpose of this discourse is to tell you a bit more about the Stoic philosophy and inform you what it's about, its history, its proponents, and its benefits today for life. Stoicism is part of the Hellenistic philosophies, and it prospered from about 300 before Christ. That's the time when Alexander the Great conquered the known world, up to the point where 300 after Christ, where the Roman Empire has reached its peak and was in its decline. Stoicism wasn't the only philosophy. There were quite different competing philosophies, but they all struggled with the same question. And that question was, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of life? When do we live a good life? Now there were the Epicureans. The Epicureans said, life is about pleasure. Avoid pain, seek pleasure, and you will be happy. There were also the skeptics. The skeptics said, life is about truth. You must challenge everything. You must question everything. Don't take anything for granted. And then there were the skeptics. The skeptics said, don't trust anybody. The world is inherently a bad place. Its people are greedy. They are selfish. They don't have your best interest in mind. And then there were the Stoics. The Stoics said, life is about living a virtuous life. It is about living for strength of character, to build values like tolerance into your life, like productivity, like industriousness. Those are the qualities that if you build in your life, you will be happy. This view started off by a person called Zeno. Zeno was a merchant Greek, and his ship sank near the coast of Rome, and then after he had lost everything, he started a philosophical school which turned into Stoicism. For the first 300 years, we have got an indication of what people taught, but we don't really have a firm grip of it because most of the writings were lost somewhere along the line. We know, for example, Zeno wrote 70 books, but we only know about them through what other people wrote, that what he wrote. We don't know anything really about Zeno himself, of what he wrote. I want to focus more on the last 300 years of Stoic philosophy and the people that we know about there, because we know from their own writing or close writing what they have taught. The first one is Seneca. Seneca was an advisor, a statesman, but especially he was the main advisor of the emperor in his time. We know what Seneca wrote because he wrote some letters, and he wrote strategies that was performed in Rome, and therefore it contained Stoic lessons which we can still glean of them today. He lived about from 4 before Christ until 65 AD. The next person that we know a lot from Stoic philosophy is Epictetus. Epictetus lived 55 AD to 135 AD. We don't have much of his own writing because he haven't written anything. What we do have is a very well copy of his teachings written up by his student Ariel. And therefore we've got the discourses of Epictetus where he is teaching Stoic philosophy. The last person is Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. He's called one of the good emperors, and he wrote a whole set of books, which is called today the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, which he wrote while he was on the war, busy fighting the Germans. And that's very intimate, his own reflections that he wrote down for himself. It was never meant to be published or to be a teaching. And therefore we learn a lot about the realness of Stoicism and what it meant in a very intimate and personal way for people. So we've got the advisor, we've got the slave, and we've got the emperor. It doesn't matter on which status your life is. Stoic philosophy says it brings you something to work with in your life. The teachings is wide and varied, but I would like to focus on 4 main teachings quickly. The first one is you have to live according to your nature. Humans are part of this whole big cosmos, and we have a particular role to fulfill. Part of that role is to be who we are as humans. It means we are conscious, we are creative, we are social creatures, and we need to give expression to these things if we want to be humans. And because we are social, we need to be virtuous. If we live according to our true nature, we have to be happy. Now, the one thing that is an obstacle to living to our true nature, according to the Stoics, is our emotions. They say we judge events not based on what they are, but on what we think they are. And because we think certain things, we allow emotions like anger and unhappiness and anxiety to overcome ourselves. And we put so much focus on them that we lose a lot of our productive energy and the energy we can use to be creative and to be conscious and to be purposeful. Now, how do we overcome the emotions? They said we must make a distinction between 2 very important things. The one is understand what you are in control of and understand what you are not in control of. Then focus on the things that you are in control of. The things you are in control of are the things that your own attitude. Things you are not in control of is, for example, your health. You can't help it when you are sick. You can't help it when other people are angry at you. So don't put your energy into those things. Look at your attitude. Look at your own manner of doing things. For that is the things that you are in control of and on which you can focus. Lastly, you have to be mindful at all times. So you can't just think now and then about what you're in control of and what you're not in control of. You have to be consistently, every moment, be aware of the things in your control and the thing outside of your control. And this is what they call Stoic Mindfulness. Stoic Mindfulness, therefore, is to be in the present moment. And that is what Stoicism is about. Stoicism promises a happy life, a confident life. Have you thought of how people will perceive you if you are calm in the midst of a storm? When you're the one that can use your mind and be creative, even in times of adversity, in times when you are under pressure. Stoicism said that if you follow the Stoic philosophy and you're aware of that philosophy, it will give you calmness of mind. And when you are calm of mind, it will set you free. And in freedom, there is true power.